Hey, you ready? Here we go.
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. Welcome to episode 17 of The Fellowship. My name is Adam Hawk, your host. My resident guest, Ryan Engel, is here putting some ice in his bourbon.
Just residing.
It is 10 in the morning, actually. You wouldn't know that by...
People really didn't need to know that.
Well, they kind of do, because there's going to be drinking and smoking happening. Yeah. We are taping this episode at this specific time because we...
Nice shoes.
You too. You know, I realized that because we make all our own clothes and your wife makes shoes, that we're probably going to be wearing the same stuff a lot.
Yeah, my wife doesn't actually make shoes for the viewers at home. She is a clothing designer.
Well, she designs them.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. I was going to say the reason that we're here at 10 a.m. when we normally shoot later in the afternoon or at night is because we reeled in quite the big fish. And we are returning to film The Fellowship, which candidly took a bit of a hiatus. Not one that we wanted, not one that we planned, but Nick Smith, affectionately known as Dick Smith after he starts to drink, picked up the old 9 to 5, and that meant dropping us. So we went on the search. It was extensive. It was nationwide. I think we went through 60 or 70 interviews, and we found our guy. His name is Patrick Hardy. He's behind the controls right now, and if I could remember his Instagram handle, I would plug it, but I don't. So Patrick,
in post, I've learned that the jargon here is in post.
In post. If you want to put it in
throw
post,
that tag in there.
Please do that. Yeah. Another thing before we bring on our guest, you have completely remodeled the boardroom. People are probably used to us sitting on different sides. Everything here was once over there. I left for a couple of weeks to do something else, which we'll talk about on a future podcast. I come back, and like my mother-in-law, you've rearranged absolutely everything.
Yeah. We have an old tagline with my group of guys that we grew up with that, you know, like, the morning after, you're like, the slang for, did you hook up with that chick, is like, oh yeah, we rearranged the furniture. You know what I mean?
Okay,
so
thank you.
You left for a little while, and I rearranged the furniture. So it made more sense to come this way. I walked in the warehouse one morning, and I was like, why is everything going this way?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you're in a different spot.
Yep.
I'm hoping that side of your face is skinnier than the other side.
Yep. Well, a new thing that I started in my life, which again we'll talk about later, is directly next door to Panda Express. So I have not been getting skinnier. I've been just absolutely inhaling chow mein.
Do you do half chow mein, half fried rice?
Yeah, because I texted you and said, what's your go-to at Panda?
Yeah.
Half chow mein, half fried rice, broccoli and beef, and then orange. Is that what it was?
Yeah. I mean, how do you go wrong with that?
I mean, yeah, it hurts afterwards, but it's good going down for sure. On that note, I would like to introduce our guest today for episode 16. He is a digital creator, the co-host of Group Golf Therapy. You've seen him in a national television commercial for Century and in a Skratch TV miniseries documenting the black history of golf. He is an advocate for mental health. He is the love child of golf, the culture, and inclusion, and you can and should follow him on Instagram at Bradford Wilson Golf. Ladies and gentlemen, Bradford Wilson. And Patrick, there's no to add in some more applause too.
Yeah, add some applause there.
Thank you for coming down.
My spot.
Oh, I'm right over here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Yeah. Slide this.
What an intro.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Adam,
you earned it.
One thing he does do good is it's his homework.
Okay.
So,
You absolutely earned that introduction. And first off, like, we're so grateful that you came down. You made a long drive from Los Angeles down to San Clemente. I'm very familiar with that drive, so it's awesome to have you here. Also, I feel like you're a guy that I've not only wanted to meet, but needed to meet for a long time. We have a lot of mutual friends. Ryan and you have mutual friends. You're popping up on my Instagram feed all the time, which we're going to get into in a second, which is all great. But it is absolutely awesome to have you down here, so thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. I like the setup you have.
Oh, thank you.
You were telling me, like, as I arrived, you know, the aesthetic is all inspired by your grandfather and, like, you know, heyday of golf and everything. I'm like, this is a trip. Like, this is a museum.
Well, you know, when I was in my bachelor stage of life, I had a spare bedroom downstairs, and I made it my little man cave. You know?
Got you.
So all this stuff was here, and then as the family grows and the wife, you know, moves in and things slowly get pushed
As
to the
they tend to
garage.
do.
Yeah.
And then now the garage is a valuable space too, because things are moving and happening and stuff. So now it's like, where are we going to put this? Well, I guess we'll just bring it to the office.
I love this.
What better
video.
place, you know?
Yeah, and
so
that's a win for your wife. It's a win for us.
everyone won. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Everyone.
The standard shorthand for Bradford is Brad. Did you ever consider going the other way and being Ford Wilson?
You know what? Before I made my golf Instagram, my personal Instagram was brad.ford.
That's a cool name.
And
Not that Bradford Wilson isn't, but that's
I love my name. It's taken a while for me to like step into it with confidence, to be honest with you. But for a long time, people were calling me, like, my last name was Ford. People just didn't know. How many Bradfords do you actually know? I have personally never met another Bradford, another human Bradford.
I've met Brads, just
Hella Brads. Hella Brads.
or Bradley.
Bradford is a classic.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
old school.
So I on set, you know, or when I'm shooting, when I'm doing anything, they're like, "What do you prefer, Bradford?" Say, as long as the check says Bradford.
Yeah.
That is all.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm with that.
I mentioned that we have mutual friends, but we haven't met. This is the first time that we've spent some time together, and I, like the viewers who might not be familiar with you, need kind of a backstory. How does a guy with a New Jersey area code make it down to Los Angeles and become someone that I cannot, and I say this with admiration, and I'm happy about it, I cannot escape on my Instagram feed. You're omnipresent right now in the best way possible. So how does that happen? New Jersey to LA, and now you are a prominent influencer in the golf space.
that's a loaded question, but yeah, I mean, 2015, packed up a car and drove out here, and in order to like kind of get my folks to buy into what I was doing, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna use my degree. You know, my degree is in exercise science, physical therapy. That's what I practiced after college and everything.
Looks like you're still practicing.
I mean, I'm practicing, you know, reps. I get the reps in. You know what I'm saying?
We know a little bit about that.
Right.
Absolutely.
So to get them to buy in, you know, I'm like, I'll go and use my degree. I'll be a teacher, and I did. And I taught and I coached, and I was like, you know, like I'm involved with the kids. And then as soon as I got a student that was like a stud golfer, I was like, yo, I'm back. I always knew golf was gonna. I won't say always. I started playing when I was 12. The town that I grew up in had a public course in it, so I spent a lot of time on that course.
Rad.
High school, kind of messed around. I was a better soccer player than I was a golfer. College, different story. I was the worst golfer on the team. I was. This story is well documented, but I did not have a good experience in college as a golfer.
Okay.
So when I moved to California, I left my clubs in New Jersey, got here, started coaching, started teaching, met some incredible junior golfers, and fell back in love with it.
That's rad.
So when the pandemic hit, golf was like, that was the thing to do.
Everything.
And I lived pretty close to Griffith Park, so Wilson, Harding, Roosevelt, those became like my second home. And during the heat of 2020, not only was it, you know, COVID was rampant, so were protests in Los Angeles. So after the death of George Floyd, cities across America, they were doing what they were doing, and Los Angeles was like the hotbed. So I took kind of like all that energy, all of that angst, all of that aggression that I had about what was happening in our country and how black people were situated and all that, and I took that energy and put it into golf content, because that was my escape. Like I would hit the streets hard. I would petition. I would call. I would, you know, I'm educating people. I'm like really 10 toes down in this thing. You know, I'm trying to be a part of the movement.
Yeah.
And golf was this thing that this nut that I couldn't crack. You know, it's like this seemingly like unattainable, like it's destined to forever be this like elitist kind of thing that I'm like, I'm gonna penetrate that. Like I'm gonna find a way to get in here. So I took all of that energy and just channeled it into golf content.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I kind of took that approach because at night I was watching YouTube. I was watching GM Golf, Good, Rick Shields, Peter Finch, these prominent golf creators. And I was like, I don't see anyone that looks like me out here. And doing it, I'll rephrase. I didn't see anyone that looked like me doing it on a big stage. And I knew the talents that I had. I knew what I could bring to the table. I was like, I'm gonna bust this door down. Like whether y'all have me or not, I'm doing it. So that's kind of how it started. That was the impetus for all of it.
So you're inspired. You have this energy. You have this angst, and you channel it. It takes a certain kind of person to do that, because many people who were experiencing that summer together at the same time may have felt those things, but they don't have it inside of them to be like, I'm going to put myself out there as a voice for it. So where did that come from? Have you always been someone that wanted to be forward facing and be the voice of something? Because it's not enough to just feel something. You have to be like, roll the camera, I'm doing it, I'm going to take this on my shoulders, I'm going to deal with the hate, I'm going to deal with the love, I'm going to sort it all out, and I'm going to take that burden on. So where did that come from?
That's a good question. I think from the time I was young, and from speaking to other entertainers, actors, comedians, they always know. Like they know. Like there was a scene that they saw, a movie, a person that they met that encouraged them or that inspired them.
The candle
to
was
know,
lit,
right? And for me, that was Danny Glover in Angels in the Outfield.
Oh my God!
You've got to be kidding me,
dude!
You've got to be kidding me.
Literally my favorite movie
before you got you got here. When we were testing the microphones.
Yes.
We spoke that into existence.
Stop playing.
He's 5 minutes before
he said, "What's your favorite Danny Glover performance?" And I said, "George Knox and Angels."
George Knox.
George Knox is
Mr. Knox. You're wanted on the field.
Then he punches Ranch Wilder.
Yes.
He plays such a good pissed off guy.
And he does. And
Doesn't he?
When he melts down to his team in the clubhouse.
And goes, it was that scene.
It's the best.
You've all got your head so far up your butts you can't even see the light of day.
It's the best.
One more loss and I'll do this.
I can't believe this is happening right now.
To each and every one of you.
We were just talking about that.
You're a jackass. No, I'm a pitcher.
You're a pitcher and a jackass.
That's unbelievable.
I want you all here by 9 tomorrow.
Well, we're going back to work on fundamentals. In the middle of the season. Dude, yes, man. That is my all-time. I cannot believe that Danny Glover in Angels in the Outfield. Yeah, you're doing the wings. I cannot believe that was your inspiration.
Yes, an infant Gordon Levitt. What's his name?
Yeah, Joseph
Gordon-Levitt. Thank you.
By the way, he peaked. That was his peak.
Oh my God.
It doesn't get any better than playing Roger, the adopted son of Danny Glover.
Right, and we didn't even get to see what his Robin would have been in the Dark Knight franchise.
Right,
and Looper wasn't it.
Right, right.
Yeah,
500 Days of Summer. Take it.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, man, it was Angels in the Outfield. It was Roger.
It was Raj. By the way, before we move off of that, because I do want to get back to how that inspired you and what you did. The end of that movie when Roger thinks he is getting adopted by himself, and then he goes, "What about JP?" And JP's crying, and Danny Glover says, "JP's coming too." And they hug the three of them, and Maggie's in the background, and you're just like, you know what? This is the greatest movie that's ever been made.
Put some respect on Angels in the Outfield. Because I'm going to tell you, without that movie, I would not be sitting on this couch.
We're done here, folks.
Well, this was a great show, you guys.
The Fellowship brought to you by these two and Basil Hayden.
That is so awesome. So, okay, we could do an hour on that, where you and I just quoted the movie back and forth to each other. But, so Danny Glover inspires you, and when that fire was lit, you're like, I'm going to do something with it now, or I'm going to do something with it later. Because obviously you didn't see that movie at your current age. You saw it as a kid.
Right.
So that it started then. And you're just like, this has been in me forever, and now it's time to come out?
Yes. Like, rewatching that VHS tape, like running it into the ground, rewind.
Those were the days.
That was it, man. It was my rotation was Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was Angels in the Outfield and Mrs. Doubtfire.
Wow. What a trio of movies!
Yes.
We had that speed rewind machine.
Oh yes,
where you
yes.
take it out.
Take it out. It's a separate machine.
Boom,
yes,
yeah.
Done in 15 seconds.
Oh, dude.
Lickety split.
Boom.
Like,
Yeah.
So cool.
I don't know if it wore them out faster or not, but
it probably did.
It
We'll
probably
never
did.
know.
Yeah.
Ain't too many VHS
I'll get back
tape
to you guys
stores
on
around.
that.
Right.
When you started putting out content, did you have any nerves about it? Like, how is this going to be received? Am I good at this yet? Because I think we all can admit at what we do in life, we become better and better at it as we go along.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you're first doing something like what you're doing, you don't have the luxury of like practicing in front of an empty room.
Right.
Your first attempts at it are getting blasted out on the internet. So how did that feel?
I didn't care, to be honest with you. I was like,
you were on a mission.
yeah. And I mean, if you go and look at my Instagram now, you'll see more of this, right? Like, you'll see like what I'm up to, the people I work with, the photos, videos of me swinging, hitting, whatever. But my page started as a meme page, and it was specifically all of your traditional golf trope memes, sans misogyny.
Thank you.
But purposely using videos and photos of black people, black women, black drag queens, and kind of putting those exact same jokes and tropes and memes on my page. So I was like, if you're gonna come to my page, you're here for the memes, but you don't know that what the person you're looking at is a trans woman, or the person that you're looking at is a black drag queen. That's and I say this anyone I talk to about putting the medicine in the candy, that's what that is. Like, you're here for the jokes, but you don't even know that you were just educated. And now, like, you see this person, you're like,
there's a bigger message
really
behind
funny.
it all.
You just did a series with Skratch on Black History. I think it was 4 or 5 parts.
It was 4 parts.
4 parts. It was incredible. After the summer of 2020, we did a dive into the Black history of golf as well. And one of the characters, I shouldn't say character, one of the humans that I really was inspired by was Bill Spiller, who he did so
unheralded.
Unheralded, because when people say that a path was paved, that is actually very literal in the sense that someone is going out and digging up the ground and putting it down, not so they can walk on it, because by the time they're done paving it, they're too old to walk on it, so someone else is going to walk on it for them. Bill Spiller is the guy who was going to tour events and being told he couldn't play. He paved the way for Charlie Sifford. And Charlie was able to walk on the path that Spiller paved because Spiller he was not able to do what he wanted to do until he was 48 years old. That's 3 years older than Tiger is now.
Right. Imagine not being able to do something that you love, that you were exceptionally talented at until like beyond your prime year. Like,
correct.
And that's the story with a lot of those guys. Spiller, Sifford, Rhodes, Elder, like all those guys weren't given that opportunity until they were in their 30s.
What I particularly resonated with was he wasn't happy to be that person. He was angry. And I don't think anger is necessarily a bad emotion. People like to write it off as being a bad emotion, but it's like, this is my life. Like, he didn't know what was going to come from it afterwards. He didn't know that he was paving a path, but it's like, my life is being wasted because of prejudice, because of segregation, because of rules that I can't control. And there's this famous picture of him sitting down.
Iconic photograph.
Iconic. At a bench in San Diego where he's sitting down and his face is on his hand, and he's just been told, this event that we told you can play in, you can't play in it.
Like, oh, no, actually, you can't. You can't.
and he thought that was going to be his first pro event. And the look on his face, I mean, it's impossible not to be moved by it.
It tells, I mean, a picture says 1,000 words. You can see everything that he's thinking in that photo.
Absolutely.
Like, this is bullshit.
Right.
I have worked so hard to get to this moment. You lied to me. I feel deceived. I feel like I'm so upset right now. Like, what am I going to tell my wife and kids? Like, all of those things you can see on this man's face. And that was his lived experience. And that was his experience with golf. And unfortunately, like, that was probably the spark that led him to be like, I have to do something about this. But fortunately for us, Spiller is one of those people who was like, like if there was a blown up photo of like the original piece of legislation, Bill Spiller's signature would be the John Hancock.
Absolutely.
Like he would be the biggest name on that because
Right.
he was so integral in getting the.
He was the catalyst.
He was the catalyst, exactly.
He got that sentence out of that legislation that allowed them to discriminate.
Yes.
And Joe Louis, the heavyweight champion of the world, was able to play in that tournament.
Yes.
And Joe Louis was taught by, oh my gosh,
Ted Rhodes.
Ted Rhodes.
Yes.
And Ted Rhodes' son went on to be the director of, or I'm sorry, Joe Louis' son went on to be the director of the First Tee for 18 years.
Yes.
So when we went and did our deep dive on it because we felt it was our due diligence and it was time, what happens is all of these stories are unlocked.
Yeah.
But these stories didn't just appear in 2020. They've been around for decades.
Right.
That's the crazy part.
That's the crazy part. And
Right.
then what you did with Skratch, and this is how I want to tie it all together, is you went to the Hall of Fame and you went and you unlocked all these stories that have been around for everyone to see. And you went through the icons of black golf. What did that feel like to be able to be the person that got to do that?
Man, firstly, I would have had that opportunity without Maurice Allen. So I have to take my hat off to Maurice Allen. Thank you for tapping me on the shoulder and bringing me onto that. Maurice and I were taking different paths up the same mountain, right? Like we know that these stories exist. We know that opportunities are missed in golf for black people specifically. So we're taking different paths to illuminate those things. So when I was called for this, I mean, this was like vision board stuff. Like Skratch is the PGA Tour's media outlet, right? Like they do all of the fun side of golf, the storytelling, the behind the scenes stuff. So this was like when I first started, making memes. I'm like, all right, eventually I'm going to put myself on camera. Eventually I'm going to start making original content. Like, who do I want to work with? Skratch was one of those names. So this is a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And I'd never been to the World Golf Hall of Fame. Always wanted to go. Always wanted to play that course. And
Whenever I hear that, I always think of that Gary Player commercial that has always been on loop, like
Telling you to come visit
the Squire.
Oh, right. Right, but that's one of the reasons,
Totally.
So, to go there, to be in the exhibit, first of all, the World Golf Hall of Fame is like, it's exactly what you think it is. It is a museum for golf nerds. Like, it's this times a million.
Like every era, everything.
Yes, and it's so
we gotta
cool.
go. We gotta go.
You gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go check that.
And upstairs is the African American exhibit. So, in the center of it is this helix, like a DNA strand.
Yep.
And I mean, I couldn't look at it and tell you each person going up the rung, but you were able to walk around this timeline, this physical timeline,
Interesting.
and pinpoint, this person's story, this person's accomplishment, this person was the first to do this person was the first to do that, and not only was it like educational for me, but it felt like, I truly mean this, it felt like I was getting a hug from my ancestors. Like, it felt like this is where you belong, this is what you were always meant to do, to be here in this moment, to be a part of this story, and to help to shape what the future of this game can look like for us. And it was everything.
Yeah. And that's an amazing piece that they have in there, which I had not known about until I saw your video. What you're describing, that physical piece, it tells a story in a way that you can't get just by looking at pictures on a wall. It's very cool in what it represents, and then you see Tiger at the top of it. And
actually, it's Tiger. So there are 14 parts. Tiger is the second to last.
Oh, okay.
The last piece is an empty blank spot because Tiger represents golf as it's been for the last 30 years or so.
Yeah.
And then that last spot is like, who's next?
Yeah.
And that part was like, I got goosebumps.
That just kind of gave me a little tingle too.
Right?
Yeah.
Just thinking about that, because it's like,
like, who's gonna be the next great?
Someone's coming.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And not only that, but same subject, but changing gears slightly. There's a lot more coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because I think for the first time ever now, you know, the black communities, even in like more urban areas, like golf's on the radar. You know what I mean? Like, like talk about a candle being lit. You know, it's not for all the different reasons. Kind of like, oh, that's whack, or that's elitist, or that's white. It's like, no, it's a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like anything in life. You open it up to all the talents, and you're gonna get the best talents.
The best.
Seriously.
You know what I mean?
That's why it's important.
It's competition.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
and you got some good eyes, some good hands, and some will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and access.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. Like, you could take. There's a reason why, like, folks like Joe Lewis's age, for example, there were a ton of heavyweight, black heavyweight champion. Like, you had I don't know boxers like by name. I can't pull them out like that, but you know what I'm saying. Like, boxing is a relatively low cost thing.
Yeah.
And the best athletes were gravitated toward that. Same with baseball.
right.
But golf was this thing, like, it costs money.
That's kind of my
costs
problem.
money.
That's still my problem with it today, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, for instance, I'll try to keep the rant short, but, you know, TaylorMade comes out with this driver, and it's what, $600?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you see all over Instagram, everyone's getting these big boxes with paint cans and all this stuff, and there's national televised ads for it and stuff, and you're like, well, that's why it's $600.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, homie, that thing probably costs $20 to make.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, I don't want to pull the curtain back on all of it, but it's like, because we all have a business to run, but it's like something needs to be done about that portion of it.
Sure.
You
And
know what I mean?
I'm starting to see it more. There are some companies that are doing it right by not wholesaling, but like box sets. Those, and direct to consumer. Those things are amazing. I think that's great for the game.
Yep.
But like you were saying, you know, the wave is coming, and it's a cultural thing. So like that last rung on the helix, it's really representative of like what the culture is going to look like. Because there are a lot of them are pro golfers, but there's also someone in there that wasn't. His name's Bill Dickey, and Bill Dickey was an educator. He was someone that saw that there was a lot of black golf talent that wasn't being highlighted, and invited people out to showcase their talents. And that's how scholarships got granted. That's how sponsorships were granted. So like Bill Dickey is someone, a pathway paver, you know, who did something that he really couldn't be a part of and couldn't see take on. But it's, you know, a football reference, the Mike Holmgren tree of, of coaches. Yeah. So Bill Dickey has this tree now. Like, he planted the seed, and it's starting to take shape now.
Who does that sound like?
What do you mean?
Sounds like you, right? Bringing people to the game. Bringing people in. Like, if Bill Dickey was opening up these doors, this is what you're doing on camera. You do it with the SCGA, Josiah. I know that you've got this new show with the SCGA. You're going to be out at another event with juniors. Like, that's kind of what you're doing, right? Is you're bringing these new people to the game. And I saw a video the other day where you're like, I'm always going to try to highlight people of color. I'm friends with everybody out here. Everyone has a story to tell. It's not about me being exclusive.
Right.
It's about me taking an underrepresented part of this community and elevating it.
Building it up.
Yeah. So was Bill Dickey an inspiration to you?
Absolutely. I mean, you can't hear a story like that and not be inspired. And certainly if I've got even if I had 12 followers, you know, like I feel responsible to do my best with what I've been given.
We got to be proud about what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't often take inventory of it, to be honest, but it's nice to be able to unpack it a little bit. The hope is obviously that it, you know, whatever it is I'm doing gets bigger, better. I'm able to do more things, but it's always with that intent in mind. I'm centering my message, my focus on people that look like me, because there's so much there. We have so much to offer.
Yeah.
So much talent and capability, and I'm so proud of who I am.
Yeah,
and I'm so proud of what my people can do. So
Yep.
I'm always going to center that. Like,
That's
just what it is.
No, that's incredible. That's awesome. One of the cool big things that you have done was a commercial for Century Insurance, and I believe that this aired.
Do you get a good insurance rate on that?
Man, I wish they were like. So you're our golf guy, and you're gonna stand here, you're gonna hit this ball, and then we're gonna pay you, and then we'll see you later. That's how that works.
Get the name right on the check.
Right, exactly.
One of the things that you were having some fun with when you were documenting being a part of that commercial is they made you go babyface for it.
Yeah.
How was that?
Man, you know what? It may not look like it, but this mustache takes a long time to grow.
Oh, truth be told, I can feel that, bro.
Like, these are sparse.
Yeah.
These are like the wispiest, tiniest hairs on my face.
I need couple reasons why I keep this mustache. One is I'm the fairest skinned dude ever, and I spend a life in the sun, and so I'm absolutely scared of it like a vampire. And this mustache, because I heard you're a chapstick guy, and so am I. The mustache serves as a shade for my upper lip when I'm out in the water surfing and golfing and stuff like that, and so I need it, and it takes a while to, it ain't a chia pet.
Right, right.
So I need to nurture this.
Talk to it.
And it ain't the best mustache ever, but I sure need it. So, I'm with you on that.
It looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Besides having to get clean shaven for it, what was the experience like of being in a national spot that was airing during their PGA tournament when they were white?
That's got to be crazy to see yourself on TV like that, right?
It is, but the craziest thing is when my parents can see it. Like, I'll just use this opportunity.
Yeah.
Century is only one of 4 that are out nationally right now, which is insane.
Wow.
You're hot right now.
What
made you want to come down here is what I want to know. Like, what did Adam promise you? What are we on the hook for
I think I said gas money.
It was one of them,
But hey, it was
gas
worth the
money
trip.
nowadays is like a Bitcoin, dude.
Seriously.
Well, you're right, and it was worth the trip because we got to do Angels in the Outfield dialogue together.
I mean, that alone.
Yeah.
That alone made it worth it.
Yeah. By the way, we did give you a little gift. It's a late Christmas present. It's very small.
I like the wrapping.
Yeah, thank you. My wife
Adam?
wrapped it last night.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I said, "Do you have wrapping?" She goes, "Christmas paper." And I was like, "Okay, that'll work." You can open that on camera. You're not going to be blown away by it at all.
I'm already blown away about all of this.
Okay,
so.
well.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
I think,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never leave home without it.
Yeah.
The
4-pack of Chapstick.
Yeah.
This is it.
You are Mr. Chapstick.
You're. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're flying your flag on it, and
thank you.
And our pleasure.
and as much as you and I bonded on Angels in the Outfield, I knew you and Ryan would bond on Chapstick. This guy does not leave home without it.
You can't.
I told him this morning, because we covered this earlier, and I said, if I forget it, I quickly run an inventory in my mind. Is it faster to turn around and get it or buy a new one on my way?
Yes.
And I'm a big Carmex SPF 15 guy. Because I need the sunscreen in there. And, man, once you start, you can't stop, dude.
You can't. And I actually... another reason I'm here, and this all ties in, is your involvement with SCGA. Like, I love what SCGA does. SCGA calls, I'm coming running. Just because I from top to bottom, I have had nothing but good experiences with SCGA. So
that's awesome.
That's the home team.
That's cool.
And when I was out a couple weeks ago at the Westside Golf Collective, I met somebody who is actively anti-chapstick and tried to convince me that chapstick is not the way. But when you said once you start you can't stop, that was his whole argument.
Yeah.
He was like, once we applied that first piece of chapstick, our body forgot how to make oils. I'm like, that is just not true.
Yeah, because if you're walking in the desert for 3 days straight,
is your body just going to
your lips are going to die?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Also, you could apply that completely terrible logic to everything in life. Once we started using soap in the shower, we forgot how to naturally deodorize.
Right.
No, dude.
You don't smell your ass?
Yeah, right. Yes. These products exist for a reason, man.
Yes.
That argument's over.
Chapstick
in my mind,
is just as
Sorry,
important.
Jackson. You're wrong, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll send you some chapstick too, bro.
Yes.
Hey, my job at the SCGA, Ryan, is paying off.
Yeah, hey.
Bradford came down for it.
Look at
Now,
that.
I did want to mention this as well. You are, and I got permission to talk about this, you are starting a new show with them, or at least you guys filmed a pilot.
Yeah.
I know that the SCGA is extremely high on you. You're high on them. Mutual Adoration Society, which is great. And they give you a vehicle to go out and do what you want to do. And you give them a space that they desperately, and I say desperately because everyone should want to get their message out as much as possible. We should be desperate to get that message out. They want to be in the spaces that you're in. So it seems like a perfect marriage. What is the show, and what is the show about? And if you can give us any other details on it,
Yeah.
that's great. And this won't air for a week, so maybe the show drops before this.
Hey, I hope so.
Yeah. And if they were like, hey, you gave away the whole thing, we'll just edit this and save it for later. But
Cool.
you can tell us about the show.
Our
For sure.
tens of viewers won't mind.
Hey.
You know,
Hey, y'all are doing numbers. That's all.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
all.
you, Bradford.
Yeah,
Thank you.
y'all are doing numbers.
Thank you.
Yeah, the show is called Bradford Plays, which is insane to have my name on something.
Brad.
It's something I've always wanted to do. I've wanted to host. Well, I mean, it's Southern California based, but I've always wanted to host a golf travel something. But this show affords me the opportunity to tap in with what's going on the west side of LA, what's going on down here in San Clemente, what's going on in San Diego, I get to bop around and tap into different communities in golf, see all types of different people. Truly what the message is shining light on all walks of life, all types of golfers, because the through line is golf and the connectivity is golf.
Yeah.
And what I bring to it is me, I get to showcase a little bit of personality.
Yep.
I get to, crack jokes with people. I get to hit some balls,
Yeah.
and hopefully make some interesting conversations come of it. And
I know you will. You're the right guy for it. The other cool thing is, for their perspective, is the SCGA does so much that not enough people know about. They have member outings. They have a junior foundation. They grow their clubs, which our friend Jimmy Tropicana has done. They are involved in local and state government fighting to keep municipal golf courses open and operating.
Super important.
Super important. So the SCGA does all of this stuff. And when you do so much stuff, it can be hard to message that. And you now get to help them message like, hey, we do put on junior clinics. We do bring people together through clubs. We do go advocate for you in Sacramento so you can continue to play on your golf course down here in Los Angeles.
Right.
And now you get to help them do that, which is really cool.
It's super cool because without the future of golf is not only is it diversity, but it's storytelling, it's content. Folks,
because that's what golf is.
That's what golf is. It's the stories, it's the connectivity.
Yeah.
And if I'm, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, I don't really know much about golf. I want to get into it. I need to find somebody to relate to. Years and years ago, it was like, for me, it was like I had Tiger and that was it. I didn't relate to David Duval. I didn't relate to Jim Nantz, Nick Faldo, whoever.
Yeah.
But if there was somebody that I liked enough, I would follow and listen to what that person had to say. So if Bradford Plays is the vehicle by which folks can learn a little bit more about the SCGA and all the inner workings of what's going on within the SCGA, then I'm proud to do that.
That's awesome. Yeah, and there's this thought that, what does a golf association do? A governing body? Who wants golf governed? I can just sign up and get my handicap. But it's like, no, this thing is actually important. It's actually serving the betterment of not only golf, but society, because golf does so much good that people just instantly write off. Because if you don't play it, you think that it's something that it's not. And you don't understand the amount of different types of people that get to come to the course, get to play affordable courses, make lifelong friendships. You're here because of golf. Now you and I and Ryan are all friends. I met Ryan through golf. We met Patrick through golf. It does so many great things. And the SCGA can help champion that. Now, we've talked about how many cool and big things you've done, and rather quickly too, considering that you started this in 2020, and you are in demand, as Ryan mentioned, and we are very honored to have you here. We were surprised that we were able to get you on the show, which is great.
Y'all ever see that Oprah clip where she's talking to Beyonce?
No.
And she's like, "No, you are Beyonce," and she goes, "Thank you."
You are Bradford. Thank you.
That's a hot clip.
Now, I want to also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that you co-host a podcast called Group Golf Therapy, and you guys have some very open, candid conversations.
Ooh, nice plug.
Yes,
You like
yes.
that?
Yes. Some very open, candid conversations. You prioritize mental health. There's a quote that starts your podcast that says there's another kind of good health, mental health, or something along those lines. On one of the recent episodes, you disclosed, and because it's public, I don't feel like I can't bring it up here, you disclosed that in the early part of this year, not only had you taken on so much, more than you can handle, but you realized you couldn't execute it in a way that was healthy for you.
Yeah.
I believe in the podcast you said that your feet were not on the ground.
Yeah.
You were spinning. You didn't trust your instincts. You were second guessing yourself on something as trivial as should I cook today or should I not? And you leaned on your friends for help. But what got you to a place where you felt like, I'm not in control right now? It's not as polished or great as it might look on the internet. Like, I need help right now.
I mean, self-awareness is the key to being able to identify that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taken a lot of work for me to even build up that skill. Like, so some people don't have that, and that's not lost on me. So I attribute a lot of what I've learned about myself to my relationships with not only my girlfriend, but like my family and my therapist. I've had a therapist for 4 years, and have I always, like, you know, squeezed all the juice out of that relationship?
Yeah. All in all
but,
the time, and it's hard. Yeah.
But you know, when they're there, or when you need them, they're there. And early part of this year, I realized I was in a situation where I needed to put my hand up and say, I need help.
Yeah.
There's something to being at your lowest and deepest and darkest point and reaching out in desperation and actually having something to grab onto, because a lot of people don't. So I'm grateful to my team,
right.
You know, the people around me that I was able to do that. And Connor and Drew were integral in all of that. And
it takes a village.
It really does. And I mean, we had to practice what we preach on the podcast, right? Like, I needed to reach out to them and say, I'm not doing well, and they could not have been better about it. Take all the time you need. What can we do? Can we check in with you weekly? Like, do you have 5 minutes? Can we FaceTime right now? That's the type of support that I had. And that's what I love about the podcast, because we like to extend that same kind of, you know, extend that couch to anyone that we have on the show.
Yeah.
And
I mean, God only knows how many people that has a possibility of reaching, to just push them further where they need to go, you know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as guys, it's almost in our DNA to just build a wall up when we don't even know we're doing it.
Yeah. And you know, stuff it all down.
And take it all on. And
Well, they had mentioned in the podcast that you're the type of guy on your birthday you would text and say, I'll do whatever the group wants to do. And so they were actually surprised when you reached out, surprised and very proud that you reached out and said, I need help, because that, according to them, was not something that they expected. They were more than happy to meet the need, but they were very happy to hear that from you, because maybe you're the type of guy who is so unselfish that you don't want to ever burden other people with your problems. So that meant a lot to them to be able to do that for you, and it meant a lot for you to have them do that for you. For sure. Yeah, it's I'm learning to not do that so much. You know, what does the group want to do on my birthday? Because that spills into other areas too. Right. You know, like, and you know, it's unhealthy. Like, you get 1 day out of 365 days. Make it your own. Yeah,
like,
don't give it away.
Yeah.
You give away a lot. You don't have to give that away.
Right. And it's also just about setting boundaries, too. Like, healthy boundaries for yourself.
No doubt.
It's okay to say, like, I'm not cool with that.
Yeah.
Or what you just said made me uncomfortable. Or
Yes.
you know, like those are ways you can protect yourself, protect your energy. And I have just
like
learned
that,
to
protect your energy.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we give
isn't
a
that
lot.
what it all is, you know? Like, we're all putting out this energy whether we know it or not.
Right.
You know?
And we give a lot away on social media, too.
Yeah, totally.
A lot.
So I that could have factored into what I was feeling, you know? Like, I'm giving so much, I'm putting so much out. I feel obligated to post, or I feel obligated to interact with or reply. And that is a job, you know? Like, it weighs a lot. It weighs heavy on you.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. And it takes you away from other things.
Yeah. Yes.
Everything's going so fast, and there's so much of everything now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's not just back in the day where whoever you're in the room with, that's all you got going on.
Right.
It's like, we're one click away from just opening up a can of worms.
Which, by the way,
Yeah.
that room that you're talking about is the most important part
Right.
in our lives, is the people that you are present with, the people that you talk to.
Right.
They had, Bradford had Roger Steele on his podcast, and you guys talked about, like, I would rather have 20 of the right followers than 100K of
Yes.
the wrong followers. And Roger talked about what you just alluded to, which was protecting your energy. When Eastside Golf crossed him and got caught up, he wasn't going to sit down and just take that, because it was important to him, like, I'm not cool with this.
Yeah.
And here's what I'm going to do about it. You insulted me. You insulted my girl. I caught you being fake.
Yeah.
And boy, I love the way he flipped that.
He did. He did a great job with it. And
That
I'm
was
not
some
trying to...
slick
Yeah.
maneuvering
it
right
was,
there. That was slick.
It was slick.
Well,
Exactly.
he used his God-given skill set
Yeah.
in a way that was not only, you know, our culture kind of likes to watch a fight, you know, but it was also very good for him too. Like, as he said, you know, that's a Chicago thing. Like, we're going to have it out. We're going to talk. And on your podcast, he talked about how on the West Coast, you don't know how people feel because they keep it to themselves.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. And that's somebody, I have a lot of respect for what he does. And he's obviously very strongly rooted in the Chicago in him. So I respected that move. And, you know, like, there's something to be said about, you know, when you try to do something behind closed doors and you don't get your needs met, you know. But unfortunately, that's what he felt like he needed to do, and turned out benefiting a lot of kids.
Yeah.
So he sure did.
Like, in a roundabout way, you know, he did what he needed to do.
Man, I learned a lot about him from your guys' conversation, because if you just kind of catch up with him on Instagram, like in the last year or two, it's like, well, here's this guy who has had a lot of, you know, doors opened up for him. He's on these big platforms. He's got these big deals, but he's literally telling you guys, I was negotiating between buying toilet paper and paying rent.
Yeah,
like,
man.
I was down to my last dime, telling people, like, I'm gonna come in and do a great job for you. Like, he was hustling. Like, there is such a great origin story with him, and it's not rooted in like this typical golf story. Like, he grew up and his dad kind of forced it upon him, and he grew to resent it a little bit, left his clubs, came out here, realized, like, hey, I need to bring that back into my life, and now it's like the greatest thing he's ever done. So it's crazy how many of these people have amazing stories that you typically don't get to hear, because we just consume what's on our phone. You're like, oh, here's Roger roasting someone on Real Talk, you know. But it's like, dude, this guy actually has one of the most humble stories I've ever heard.
For sure. And that's the power of what we do on the podcast. Because I don't know that on any other medium or any other platform where we'd be able to mine that out of someone in a safe and healthy way. I'm really proud about what group golf therapy represents in golf. We jokingly say a few things about the show. If golf is 90% mental, we have a lot to talk about.
And boy, is that true. Oh my gosh.
And that group golf therapy is the Trojan horse for golf to talk about their relationships and how they feel about it. And if we can foster an environment where someone feels comfortable telling their story, and there's no judgment, and like, I see you for who you are, that breaks down a lot of preconceptions. It breaks down a lot of barriers, and ultimately, you know, like, we're talking about the episode right now because you listened to it and resonated with something that someone said on the show. So that's the beauty of what we do, and I'm so proud of Drew, and I'm so proud of Connor. those two are powerhouses. Like I could not have teamed up with a better team.
Wow,
like,
that's great.
Those are my guys.
One of the things you said when you were talking about your spiral, and you did say that your feet have since hit the ground, which I'm very happy to hear. One of the things that you said, you quoted Pete Holmes and said, sometimes you got to burn down the forest to see what grows back. So my question to you is, what did you burn down and what grew back?
What was... We talked about this, like, I think at the top of the show. What I burned down was Brad, and Bradford arrived.
Nice.
Like, what I mean by that is, like, Brad was playing the game. Brad was trying to make everybody around him feel comfortable. Brad was, you know, how it started was like, oh, do you prefer Bradford? Like, Bradford, how many Bradfords do you know? You know, so Brad is easier. It's like, I'm not going to make you, you know, have to fit all the syllables of my name into your mouth. I'm going to make it easier for you so that you feel comfortable with me, so I feel comfortable.
Yep.
Bradford is here to say, like, take me as I am. Yep. Bradford is here to say it's not always going to be pretty and beautiful and curated. It's sometimes messy, and sometimes I don't really know what I'm doing or where this thing is going. But it is what it is. And Brad also was someone who was like way too nice at times and was stepped on and was misled and was, man, I could tell you some stories off camera, man. Like, I was straight up lied to, you know, for being Brad, being too cordial, being too friendly, letting too much go.
Yeah.
And Bradford is the adult me protecting Brad, saying like, man, you ain't know any better. Like, I got you. Like, we
all got to learn. You know?
Yeah.
We all got to come up.
Yeah.
And it's glad to see you're getting there, man.
Yeah.
And I love this concept of the older you protecting the younger you, because you and Roger again talked about this. You asked a very a deep question of what would Roger Steele today tell Roger Steele the kid, and he was talking about his dad. And I think about this all the time because I have two young kids. And when I look into these kids' eyes, they have the most fun in the world playing with a cardboard box. It's not about like what's in the box, you know, the Christmas present. It's about the box. We're going to make a spaceship out of it. We're going to make a fort. And I look into these innocent kids' eyes. They don't know what's going on in the world. They don't know what's on news. They don't have fights with anybody. They love everybody. Like, life is just one big laughing fest. And this world, specifically in America, is curated to, as you get older, we're going to continue to strip that away from you. There's going to be more responsibility. There's going to be less laughing. There's going to be more stress. Your phone is going to ping you with emails and texts and DMs all the time. And all this stuff that you're laughing about right now, you're only going to enjoy it at a point in your life where you can barely remember it as you get older. Yeah. And I always think about that, about how joy is robbed from us because of the way, like, our life is set up.
Yeah.
It's just like, I look at them, I'm like, this is the most joyful you'll ever be, and that's so sad because it shouldn't happen to you this young.
Yeah.
You know, like, we should all be experiencing this right now.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Maybe.
Right.
Now that the mental health and the awareness is in the conversation, that's where the work is done to get to a point where maybe we can balance all that and find as much or more joy.
Right.
You know, like, who knows?
And I think I love that you just said that, though, because I think one of my like missions as Bradford is to incorporate 13-year-old, 7-year-old, 3-year-old Brad in everything that I do. Like, I try and do something for him every single day.
That's great.
It's like makeup work.
Yeah. And another guest we had on the show, and a reason why that question is such a staple for us, Sean Hotchkiss, a mental health coach and wellness coach. That's a technique he uses with his clients regularly. Like, walk around your neighborhood with the kid version of yourself. Talk to him, ask him questions, like, find out what's his favorite CD, you know, what was on TV that night, what's his favorite candy, like, just spend 5 minutes with that kid.
That's so brilliant.
I live in a part of Los Angeles right by the Grove, and there's this massive mural of Virgil Abloh, the former, God rest his soul, former designer of Off-White, and he was the creative director of Louis Vuitton. There's this quote from him that says, "Everything I'm doing now is for the 17-year-old version of me.
Oh, cool.
And that's on my walk every day. I see that every day. So like that's all of the things that he were able to accomplish was because of that kid.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
yeah.
I want to talk about some of the mutual friends I mentioned at the top.
Yeah.
Well, one of them specifically, Cole Young, Metalwood Studio. He's a good friend of Ryan and of me. We love him. He's just got his finger on the pulse right now. It's like he can't miss.
He can't miss.
Yeah. So you wear a lot of metalwood.
I do.
What came first?
I almost wore something today, but I settled on.
I caught that green sweater with the wingtip.
Oh yeah, you got that.
Yeah, the one
That
that's
thing's hot. That thing's hot.
What came first for you? Exposure to what he was making, or did you meet him first and then find out he was making stuff?
I was following Metalwood Studio first. Then I saw his piece on Skratch, and just because of the power of Instagram, the literal next day I got a message from Darren Howard of the Format, saying, "Yo, let's play golf this weekend. I want to introduce you to someone." I didn't know it was Cole, so we got there. I played around golf with him. I was like, "Oh, you're." Shit, metal
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cole Young. Y'all the same person?
Yep.
Yeah, so from that meeting, he was also like, I just came out with this new stuff. He like gave me a bucket hat, and I was like, this is everything. I was like, wait, this stuff is so hot.
Yeah.
So, and I know that Skratch piece did incredible things for his brand and everything, and now, he's a mogul in the space right now.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of him, man. He's a good friend. And,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Metalwood does this year, and I hope to ride the coattails.
Yeah. So what's interesting is your relationship with Cole got you into some of his photos. You modeled some of his clothes. That's how I first saw you.
Okay.
And then I hit up Cole and said, hey, we would love to have Bradford model for us in one of these photo shoots. He connected us.
Right.
I reached out to you.
You're right. I do remember this now.
Yeah. You couldn't do it for the greatest reasons possible. And I really mean that. You had already had a sponsorship that was conflicting with the one that we were trying to shoot, which means that you were getting your bag, which we love, we're all about. And you're in a position in your life where you can't go and do things for just getting some photos out of it, which I also love. And I wrote that back to you. I'm like, dude, I'm so happy that you're sponsored and that you command a certain amount of compensation for your time. Dude, that's great. Do you have anyone else you can put me in touch with? And you did. And we got to meet Gabe Cruz.
Great kid.
Yeah.
Oh my
Great
gosh.
kid.
What a cool guy.
Great kid.
He came down and he shot with us. We went out and played 9 holes. We got some amazing assets out of it.
There wasn't enough time in the evening
Yeah.
to keep it going.
That's where we really bonded. Is
Yeah.
we went and we did a 19th hole together, and we hung out with him. And just a great dude. So I wanted to thank you. I mean, what a small world, right? Like you to Cole, then you to us, then you connect us with Gabe, and it's amazing. And Gabe was such a cool dude. He had a lot of great things to say about you. Apparently, you went and watched him play golf one time.
Yeah. I pulled up on an APGA event at Wilshire Country Club and got to walk with him a little bit. And somebody I hope to continue to create with, because he's someone. You play with him.
Yeah.
Incredible golfer.
Absolutely.
Like I can't wait to see him do more. And I don't take the position that I'm in lightly. Like anytime if I can't do something for some reason, I'm immediately plugging someone that I know or that I want to see do well.
Yeah.
Because
that's the way it works.
but especially, I mean, this is something I'm really passionate about. Black golfers specifically have the hardest time getting equipment and buying into these mini tours. Like, it costs thousands of dollars to enter these tournaments with no guarantee you're getting anything back.
Totally.
These are professional golfers who still have to pay for their equipment, who still have to like really, really hustle and grind to eat. So anytime, like, I'm so happy that something good came out of it for Gabe, but I hope that leads to something else, which leads to something else, which leads to something else.
It's all part of it.
Yeah, that's I'm happy to know that y'all had a good time with them, man.
You did that. You made that connection. And it was important for us. It was important for our client. It was important for him. And you made that happen. And we really connected because Gabe actually has a pretty old school mind. And he was like, hey, I don't like dressing like a jock. I like dressing old school. I like the old timers.
Nice.
And we're just like, dude, sweet. You know, so he was super into what we were doing. And it was a legit connection and one that we will hopefully keep forever. And we told him, dude, if you need clothes, let us know, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that was cool. I want to do some rapid fire stuff as we wrap up here.
Sure.
You asked this question on your podcast, and I'm directly ripping it off from you guys because I want to know your response to it. What's your favorite smell in golf?
Oh man, I'm really particular about my hair care. Like, take this up, like. My waves are so important to me. I'm sure you know. You can see them. You know.
Yeah, you got it going. You got good hair.
Yeah. So, but it's specifically the smell that kind of like comes down, like the sweat that kind of comes down mixed with
what you got
the
going.
product.
Yeah.
And like you only get like a few whiffs of it per round, but that it's specific to golf. It's specific to like. The sun shining on top of your head, a little bit of bead of sweat coming down, like all of that. If I could bottle this up and like,
totally.
That's it.
Totally.
Your favorite smell in golf?
It's easy for me. It's all the old Clubman products that all the old clubs used to have. That and the OG pink hand soap. In all the old men's locker rooms,
the powder.
Something about that stuff. You're just like, damn, that smells good, and it makes me just think of being a kid because it's like for me, golf was like it wasn't all the time, like we were, living on the coast. My mom was worked her pants off to support all of us, and it was Thanksgiving and Easter. We would go out to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and so like the golf. Like getting a taste of it or just going in their cart and going out there, going to the club for dinner or something. It was just like this special occasion,
Yeah.
So it was like, hey, I got to go to the bathroom, and I'd go in there, use every product, and all the stuff. And I was just like, this place is a mecca, And like the old guy smoking cigars, and clearly it's had a huge influence in my life, But like those smells, to be honest with you, I couldn't pinpoint one. It's all of that just like old aura, like it brings me back to that childhood feeling of just like, being starstruck, like this is cool. This is a different world.
Yeah.
This is cool. Like I just want to taste this more.
Yeah. That's the power of a smell, man.
No doubt.
Like that's why that question is so important.
It's so important, and it
can transport you.
Anyway, give him a sniff.
So this is Clubman Special Reserve. We named a shirt after this. If I unscrew this, the fire alarm's going to go off. It is the most pungent thing in the world. It's our favorite thing. We love it. If I wear this around my wife, she will go get a hotel for a week. I'm not kidding.
Offended. She's
all right,
offended.
Just
get
have a little smell of this.
Tell us what you think.
That's the fire starter.
That's the fire starter.
That's the you squirt that on the man. That's
like boys' weekend. You're away from the gal. You're like
This will clear a room if you walk in wearing it, but you'll be happy about it. People will be like, "Oh, I'm out of here," and you're like, "Damn right you are." Right. This is it right here.
You walk in the room. Somebody walks in like, "Grandfather."
Yeah.
Totally.
Right.
Totally.
I love the audacity that they call it Special Reserve too. Like this is the thing that's just gonna knock you out.
Yeah.
I wear this when I play golf. Ryan introduced me to it. I wear it when I play golf. I was standing next to my friend as we were watching another friend putt, and he got close to me and he's like, Hawk, I don't know if anyone told you the war is over.
What a great line.
It was a great line.
Great line.
Yes, and I'm like, yep, well, we're keeping that era going.
Give that man a medal.
Yeah, absolutely. What does mind your golf mean? You say this a lot. I think I know what it means, but mind your golf is the tagline of the podcast. What does it mean, mind your golf?
I think if you asked me and Connor and Drew this question, we would have different interpretations of it. But for me, mind your golf is literally applying mindfulness to how you play. For example, walking 18 holes with the younger version of yourself, walking 18 holes with the version of yourself that first learned to play golf. gets you out of your head, gets you off your phone, gets you into the game, gets you into what is my purpose here today? What am I doing today? What am I thinking about today? Mind your golf also means minding those around you. I'm a 10, you might be a 3, you might be a 23. And that's not directed at y'all.
No, and you have it backwards, but you're right. Yes. Yep.
But applying that mindfulness means doesn't matter what your ability is. I'm learning something from you. I'm learning something. I'm picking up some. See how I grips that club. Like I'm literally paying attention to how you golf. Mind your golf is like taking care of the course.
Love that.
God bless you.
Like
love that.
Fix your pitch marks, man. Like fix your divots. You know, like mind your golf.
Yeah.
Think about why you're there.
Yeah, man, that is awesome.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to ask you is, you are an incredible presence on social media. You have inspired so many people. Who do you look at on social media, whether you know them in person or not, and who inspires you?
Great question.
That is a good question. The question is specifically who on social media or who in the golf space?
Either way.
Yeah, although, you know what? Either way, but let's take the golf space just since this is a golf show, and we might know the person you're talking about.
Man, they're to be honest with you, there are not too many.
And before you come up with your answer, that's a bit of a problem, right?
Yeah.
Because if we're just going for quick clickbait and substanceless content,
that's not my game.
That's not your game,
we're playing
which is
two
what
different games.
And that's what makes you different.
Yeah.
So maybe the answer is no one.
Yeah.
But that's why I wanted to ask you, because you are providing something so different and so inspirational. Is there anyone else out there that's doing it for you? And if the answer is not right now, then I would say that's very honest, it should be a wake-up call to everyone else out there to step their shit up.
Yeah. I jokingly say, I observe golf content for storytelling, for visuals, for so maybe there are some folks out there like I love what the Fire Pit Collective is doing. I love what No Laying Up does. I love what Christian Hafer does. Where I'm going, what I want to do, what I want to see, I'm looking at people like Issa Rae. I'm looking at Quinta Brunson. I'm looking at Lena Waithe. I'm looking at folks that have taken their social media, their creativity, and completely flipped it and are impacting the culture in a way that is so far beyond what they started out as. Like, Issa Rae started Awkward Black Girl on YouTube and is like the second biggest media mogul on the planet now. Like something that has transcended and evolved and just grown and ballooned into something that is like completely unrecognizable from where it started. Wow. I think that is what I see. That's the North Star for me.
That's awesome. That's really cool. We do want to give you this. You have been a wonderful guest. This is a gold Smoking Tom lapel pin. Ryan and I are wearing it. I typically pin it on someone's lapel, but you can do with that what you want. But that signifies that you've been a wonderful guest on this show. And if you guys have enough booze in your glasses, I would love to do a cheers to the fellowship.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bradford. That was amazing.
That was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
cheers.
much. See you next time, everybody.
I got some chapstick for y'all.
Welcome back to the Fellowship, episode 17, but you're going to hear me call it episode 16 in a matter of moments because I screwed it up, and we're taping this after the fact. Ryan Engel, my resident guest, is here. I'm Adam Hawk. Ryan, how are you doing?
Good to see everybody.
Okay, great. That was excellent for the podcast listeners who didn't know that you were saluting the camera and deferring to nonverbal communication. I'm so excited to be back. It's been a while since I've been in this location.
Cheers.
And you remodeled it, and it looks great. Good job.
All right. Are you in a hurry for something?
No, I'm not in a hurry at all. No, Bradford Wilson is here, and I just gave away the introduction, but we do have a great guest, and he is that great guest, and we can't wait to speak to him.
Yeah.
Okay, are you gonna
Is
help
that
me out?
good? Yeah, you did.
You know
we
what?
did it.
Hey,
we
guys.
did it. Welcome back.
Yeah,
Welcome back.
And clearly, it's been a while. We got to knock the rust off.
And we're back.
Yeah.